Spring is here, and the deals are hotter than ever at Shack Shop. Turn heads with stunning bikinis, now on sale. Explore the deep with cutting-edge underwater drones. Gear up for adventure with durable tents for every trip. Ride into spring with unbeatable deals on bikes. Fresh styles, women's fashion, and must-have looks, all discounted. Don't miss the Shack Shop Spring Fling Sale. These prices won't last. Shop now and make this spring unforgettable, only at Shack Shop.
More than half a century after the Brady Bunch first aired, its cast continues to revisit the unique relationships that formed behind the scenes. Relationships that, in some cases, came surprisingly close to evolving into something more. Now, Christopher Knight is speaking candidly about his off-screen dynamic with former co-star Eve Plumb, shedding new light on a brief, often rumored moment when their friendship nearly turned romantic. A bond formed in a bubble. For Knight, who portrayed Peter Brady, the experience of growing up on a hit television series created a kind of social bubble that few outside the industry can truly understand. From childhood into adolescence, his world was largely defined by the cast of the Brady Bunch. The actors didn't just play siblings, they spent formative years together, navigating fame, school, and personal development side by side. Knight has described those years as intensely insular. The cast became each other's primary emotional and social anchors. Within that close-knit group, his connection with Plumb, who played Jan Brady, stood out. She was, by his recollection, more emotionally mature at an earlier age. While the rest of the cast matured at different speeds, Plumb seemed to grasp interpersonal dynamics sooner, which influenced how she interacted with those around her, including Knight. She had her claim on me. Looking back, Knight acknowledges something he didn't fully recognize at the time. Plumb's affection for him may have been clearer than he realized. In his words, she always had her claim on him, an expression that reflects her consistent emotional presence and perhaps a subtle, unspoken interest. But timing, as it often does, played a decisive role. Knight admits he simply wasn't in the same place emotionally during those years. As a young teen, he lacked both the awareness and readiness to interpret or reciprocate what might have been developing between them. That disconnect wasn't due to indifference. It was more about timing and maturity. While Plumb may have been open to something more, Knight was still figuring himself out. A missed window. Ironically, just as Knight began to recognize the possibility of a deeper connection, circumstances shifted dramatically. By the time he reached a point where he might have been ready to explore something romantic, the Brady Bunch had come to an end. The show's cancellation effectively dissolved the structured environment that had kept the cast so closely connected. Suddenly, their lives began moving in different directions. The opportunity, if it ever truly existed, slipped away almost as quickly as it appeared. Knight has compared the moment to something fleeting and cinematic, like two people sharing a brief connection just as their paths diverge. Eve Plumb's perspective. Plumb has also revisited this chapter of their shared history in recent interviews and in her memoir, offering a perspective that aligns in many ways with Knight's recollections. She revealed that the two did go on a date shortly after the series ended, a moment that might have marked the beginning of something new. But instead of sparking a romance, the experience reinforced their existing dynamic. According to Plumb, the date was warm, lighthearted, and ultimately revealing. Any attempt to shift into a romantic mode was met with laughter rather than chemistry. In her reflection, the outcome became clear. Their bond had been shaped too deeply by their roles as television siblings to easily transition into something else. Even off-screen, they remained, at their core, Peter and Jan. Why it never worked, and why that's okay. Knight now sees that missed connection not as a lost opportunity, but as something that may have worked out for the best. Romantic relationships, especially those formed under unusual circumstances, can complicate long-term friendships. Had they pursued something serious and later broken up, their ability to remain close might have been compromised. Instead, by never fully crossing that line, they preserved a lasting connection, one that has endured for decades. Knight has pointed out that former romantic partners don't always stay in each other's lives. In contrast, his relationship with Plumb has remained steady and positive, unburdened by the complications that often follow a breakup. Life after the Brady house. After the show ended, both actors moved forward into separate careers and personal lives. Plumb eventually married Ken Pace, while Knight built a life with Kara Kokonis. Despite their individual paths, the bond forged during their formative years never fully disappeared. In fact, the entire Brady Bunch cast has maintained a level of connection that's rare in Hollywood. Reunions, interviews, and collaborative projects have kept the group in contact, while modern technology, like regular video calls, has helped them stay connected across distances. A unique kind of relationship. What makes Knight and Plumb's story particularly compelling is how relatable it feels, despite its unusual setting. Many people can recall a moment in their youth when a friendship almost turned into something more, but didn't. Sometimes it's due to timing, sometimes it's emotional readiness, and sometimes, as in this case, the relationship is simply too well defined in another way to evolve naturally. For Knight and Plum, their shared identity as on-screen siblings created a lasting imprint that proved difficult to rewrite. The legacy of almost. In the end, their story isn't one of missed chances or regret. It's about understanding how certain relationships are meant to exist in a specific form. Knight has come to appreciate that their connection didn't need to become romantic to be meaningful. In fact, its strength may lie precisely in what it never became. Their friendship has endured, unburdened by the complications that often come with romance, and continues to serve as a reminder of the deep bonds formed during a truly unique chapter in television history.